There you go, you're live.
We're up now.
Oh, no, you're not court.
You want to do the prayer?
Yes.
Okay,
If I get them all aligned.
thank you. How are you, Darren?
Good morning. We will call the regular meeting of the Chaves County Commissioners for the July 23rd, 26th to order. It's now 9 a.m. Mike, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Darrell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you so choose, would you please pray with me? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day in New Mexico in Chaves County. Lord, we just thank you for the many blessings you've given each and every one of us. Lord, I just ask that you be with the families of the soldiers that have fallen, protecting our freedoms, Lord. Bless them, surround them, keep them, and tell them how you love them and what a grateful nation we are. Lord, just take care of our law enforcement as they go about their day protecting us. Lord, take care of our staff. Take care of our citizens. Lord, give us open ears to hear and open hearts to love. And to God be the glory. Amen.
Cindy, do we have a quorum? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Chairman, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Corn. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion approved. Approval of the minutes.
Chairman, at this time, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the minutes from the June 25th meeting.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Dana. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Presentation, the Chaves County Youth Commission, or YDI.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, good morning. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Perfect.
Good. My name is Robert Chaves. I'm the CEO of YDI. I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to give you an update. I believe you have flyers, a copy of the presentation in front of you. And Deborah Baca should be joining me any second. She had to go to the ladies' room real quick, so you guys got here a little quicker than we anticipated. So I want to first give you an update, right, on the work we've been doing, right? And I think, Deborah, we're going to start programmatically first, right? So we're going to start with you, then I'll go with our legislative priorities for the county, okay?
Well, good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the invitation to present an update on our Head Start program. We're really fortunate that we've been able to serve 3 classrooms of Head Start children, which we were funded through the Administration for Children and Families. But in addition, in the short period of time that we've been in the community, we've also added 2 additional programs. Our pre-K program that is also 3 classrooms, and new to the county is going to be our home visitation program for 60 families. So again, we're really proud of the expansion and the rapid growth. I want to share with you that the community has been more than welcoming. The families are wonderful. The staff are great, hard-working individuals. And we have a huge, robust wait list for services. And so I think that speaks to the need for the community. Our Head Start Roswell Center is thriving. You've seen the improvements that we made, I think, in our last report when we were talking about the lease agreement, but we also have some new legislative priorities that we'd like to share with you and see how we can solicit your support.
So what we've noticed, again, we want the Head Start Center here to be the model center, right, in the community and in this region and a part of the state. We want the Head Start Center to be the model center, right? And it just needs a little more TLC. So we're going to be going to the legislative friends here and asking for some capital outlay dollars, in which we hope to partner with the county and helping us be the fiscal agent. As you know, as a nonprofit anti-donation, we can't. So some of the things we're looking at trying to do with the center is restuccoing the center, fresh coat of stucco on there, the current stucco. And we have pictures that you guys can see. They're in order of the way I'm presenting them. We want to put a fresh stucco, right? Because we believe when families and kids feel good about the community and where they're going, then they feel good about themselves. It has that effect into the home. Then we want to do the stucco. We want to paint the trimming. There's some trees in the playground that are dead over time. And if you look at the playground where they're situated, they're near the playground structure. So those dead trees are pretty expensive to get down. So we want to get some money to knock those down and remove them so there's no safety concerns for the children. So we're working on that. New flooring, electrical power underground. If we go to the center, we have the electrical line between the two buildings that's overhead, and it's kind of low. So we want to put that underground. Again, just a safety concern and make it just a little nicer aesthetically. We want to have an entry bathroom. When you go to the center, when the children are at the playground, they have to walk pretty long distance, several hundred feet, to go into the exit and to go into the bathroom. And turn around here, on the west side of the center, we want to be able to put some front doors in there and build a restroom so kids in the playground will have immediate access, because we never want our children ratios on the playground to be lower than state licensing or put any children at risk. And we have to take teachers to transport them to classrooms to use the restroom during playground. It's one less teacher providing supervision, and doing that door modification would really help us operationally. Then we want to look at it's hot out here, right? We're getting some new HVAC and for the kids in the classrooms and the teachers, so that's on our list. And then new roofing. We looked, and there's been some hail damage in the years, so we're going to try to work with insurance to go back and see what they could do for us going back. But if not, we're going to be going out there. So I know our ask is big, but I know legislators they get their allocations, and I'm hoping we can convince the legislators in this community to support our legislative priorities, which really support the children from this community. So those are legislative priorities. And then home visiting, did you want to talk about home visiting?
Sure, I'd be glad to talk about home visiting. And I just want to emphasize, that the building was vacant for over a year before we moved in December 1st. And so it was neglected. And it wasn't neglected by the county, because the agreement with the county is that whoever is the leasee is to maintain the building. So these repairs that we're asking for and renovations, again, like Robert said, we want to be the beacon in the community. We want to be the Head Start Center, that there's long lines of families that need our services, and we grow and we expand to serve home visitation, early Head Start, and pre-K families, because there is a definite need in the community. Our new home visitation program for 60 families involves weekly visits of 90 minutes with families. These families can be from pregnant women to 5 years old, and we are looking for staff. So if you know anybody that needs a job, that loves working with children and families, that has a passion for this work, please refer them to our website, www.ydinm.org. And home visitation is primarily for high-risk families, maybe families that children were born drug addicted, or high-risk pregnancies, first-time pregnancies, to help moms and the dads and the families adjust to this new baby. And so it can go from all the time from the time that they're pregnant until the time the child goes to kindergarten. And not all families want their children in a center-based option. So this provides just another option for families so that they can get services and they feel comfortable in their new role as a parent.
And to add, and I know we're probably over time, that was funded by state funding, right? We went in and we're looking at the data the community needs and using the community needs that you guys need and seeing how we can bring other outside resources to the community. So that was it 800,000? How much was that funding? Help me remember.
It was almost $1 million.
Almost about 900,000 to come in and hire a home visiting team. So again, we're going to continue to look for opportunities and how we can help the families and children here. That's what we do at YDI. But again, thank you all for your support. Any questions that we may ask, that we may answer?
Commissioners, anybody have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, could I clarify a couple of things real quick? It's all right. So YDI, they're running the Roswell Head Start. You've seen it on Virginia Street, not too far off 2nd Street. I think it's Virginia and Hendricks, if I'm not mistaken, on the cross street. We had the Southeastern New Mexico Community Action Corporation was in that building for decades. And we had no idea that they were no longer the federal government contractor. The federal government pays them to provide these services to our community. YDI called us just before the beginning of the year. They were trying to get started so that they could start their work here in our community in January. And we said, excuse me, who are you? We don't know who you are. We don't know anything about this because Southeastern New Mexico Community Action Corporation kind of left us out of the loop. So we started doing some background checks and everything. We found out that they were actually the contractor who was awarded that contract through the federal program. And so we started to work with them. Now, I want to back up real quick. Community Action Program has only paid us a nominal fee for the use of that building for years, because that's what we do. We can't give anything away to the general public because of the anti-donation clause in New Mexico, but if they provide a service that's greater than what you would charge them in fair market value rent, then you can offset that, and we only charge a small fee for our side of the paperwork. So they came and we said, well, we're not comfortable with utilizing the information from the previous contractor to give you rent-free space. So we need you to pay full rent on, it's a large building, and they agreed. They paid the full rent value until they built and established something to bring back to us. So from January till June, for the first 6 months, we need you to document everything you're doing, the programs you're bringing into the community, and how much that we have to assign a dollar value to it. And so we rewrote the lease, and there's an addendum on there showing that what they provide in services to our community, I don't remember, it was like 1,500% more than what the lease value of that building was. So at last month's meeting, we had the agreement to allow them to continue to use that building for the next year. Now we've got them on the cycle from July to July through our fiscal year. And so they will only be paying us an administrative fee to utilize that building, because what they're bringing to our community is so much more than we've had in that Head Start program for years then. So I just wanted to be sure everyone understood who YDI is and why they're doing that. One of the things that they have, there are no income restrictions. So it doesn't matter if you make a little bit or a lot. If your family needs Head Start services, you can go talk to them, and everybody's welcome. YDI is a organization that's been involved in our statewide since the 70s, I believe it was.
1971, 55 years.
And it's a pretty robust program, and we're really excited to see the things that they'll be bringing into our community in the future. So anyway, with that, I'm sorry to talk so long.
And,
It's
Manager
okay, because I
Williams.
want to say too, thank you very much for the partnership. And like I said, a lot of people sit there and say that they don't, what does the county do? We don't see anything. And this is a great partnership that we have with y'all. I'm so impressed. I go by the building on my way home because I take different routes on my way home. You guys have done so much there. I see the parking lot's full. You guys are doing wonderful. And thank you so much for expanding to the 60 families, helping families from beginning. I know when we left with our oldest daughter, the first thing my husband asked was, where's the owner's manual? And she goes, honey, you're on your own. And so, yeah, it's overwhelming. And I think that's why we see so much, so many times families kind of fall apart and stuff. But if you have a partnership with them, you can, this is normal growth. I know a friend of mine, their daughter, she was not diagnosed with autism, and they had no clue why she was acting the way. When they had reached out finally didn't know the resources were there, this is what is happening with your daughter, and we're going to walk you through this. So thank you very much for doing that. On your legislative priorities, I don't mind helping you with that. I would like to talk to our legislators, but I'd also like to walk you over and let you talk to our Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development Council of Governments, so they know that you will be talking to our legislature, and that way they can kind of help talk with them too and go, yes, we know about your priorities, and this is why they're doing it, and that way they're not caught off guard. And that way we can kind of hopefully help you get this through, because I want to continue this partnership. I want to see you grow. Thank you so much for taking on this building, because there's a lot here, and we're grateful that you didn't get scared and run away. So let us help you, and like I said, I don't mind helping you. And I want to see you expand. I know we talked about teen programs and things like that, so.
Thank you, Commissioner. One of the things that's on our roadmap is this area of the state's defined a child care desert in regards to
Yes.
child care and infant toddler specifically. So we'd like to, again, find a facility, but it's parallel, the facility and the staffing, right? So we need to get, we got a facility, but we need to find staff. But we would like to do what we have in our other centers. We have early Head Start from 6 weeks to 3 in our facilities, and that gives a full continuum of care from 6
Right.
weeks to 5. So that's also long-term on operational legislative, not really legislative priority, but a departmental priority with ECCD that we want to extend.
Well, what I like about YDI is the parental involvement. They don't just drive up, drop the kids off, and leave. You guys expect parental involvement, and that's what we saw when we were over there. So keep up with the parental involvement. They have to be involved with their kids. They have to learn, some of them right along with the kids. And I appreciate that. I really do, because like I said, so many times you just see them drive up, drop the kids off, and, oh, they're your problem now. No, you work with the parents. You work with the whole family, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, and look forward to a long relationship with your organization. Sounds like you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for making that building look good. It looks really nice.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
thank you. Well, we enjoy being here. We've met a lot of wonderful people, and thank you for your support. I know I met with you guys early on when we first started. Again, who's YDI? Who are you? I'm Chaves with an S, a Z, and I know it's Chaves. That's good. But thank you. And I do want to introduce Sandy Trujillo Medina. She's our COO, so you'll see her around the community. So we kind of see who's going to be taking turns, who's going to be up here. We believe in management by walking around and being visible, and staff building relations with staff. So somebody's usually always up here from us. But thank you guys again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, could you give us a presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. In lieu of my normal report to you today, I wanted to visit with you about an opportunity. And as you know, I'm fully well aware of the impacts of economic development across our county. Has been quite significant for the past several years, and we anticipate, obviously, much more than that. You may have read in this morning's paper about the city of Roswell considering a proposal for a new local options gross receipts tax for economic development. I would like to kind of share with you a little bit about that information and request your consideration for resolution to adopt such a measure for the county. But what is it? It's one of the most effective and sustainable tools available to you, local governments, for funding economic development initiatives without relying on uncertain grant cycles or diverting resources from essential public services. Authorized by state law and subject to voter approval, the LOGART, Local Options Gross Receipts Tax, the LOGART creates a dedicated revenue stream that can be used exclusively to support economic development plans, business recruitment, business expansion, workforce initiatives, site development, infrastructure investments, and many other activities that create jobs and then expand the local tax base. One example is the state of Texas, our neighbors who have had this process for many years. And you may have heard about their tax A and B system, which is designed to create opportunity through the entire state through that tax. There's no wonder that Texas is the most competitive market in the country because they have the ability to fund the future of their communities within that state. And for you, the central question is not whether economic development should occur, but rather, how can the communities in Chaves County have the resources necessary to really compete for new jobs and investment and in an increasingly competitive environment? You know, every community has an economic development organization. It might be one person, it might be 100 people. And we all compete with each other, even across the state of New Mexico, even in southeast New Mexico. This LOGART provides a locally controlled funding mechanism to make that possible, where we can be even more competitive for new opportunities. So this act, the LEAD Act, allows municipalities and counties to impose a voter-approved gross receipts tax increment dedicated specifically for those economic development activities, and counties made up to 1/8 of 1%, which is basically what 12.5 cents on $100. And the revenues generated may be used to further implement these economic plans we have here in the county and projects consistent with LEDA requirements. So why does this matter? It matters because economic development is truly a competitive business. In CAR, we compete with 38 other cities across the nation. We're very fortunate to have that opportunity here to create more things for the people that live and call Chaves County their home. It helps grow the tax base. And it's not merely about attracting business. It's also about expanding the community's tax base and creating higher wage jobs. A successful economic development program project occurs when we can generate new gross receipts tax revenue, additional property tax revenues, increased employment, higher household incomes, greater demand for goods and services. These outcomes strengthen the financial health of our county by reducing the dependence on a limited number of taxpayers or industries. And keep in mind that this is not only on the backs of the citizens of the county, it's every single soul that visits Chaves County. Every single soul. And so it's not just us. The work we've done to attract new companies, the work we've done to attract National Championship Air Race, and many other things that are in the queue, will create that independence for us as a county, so we're not relying upon just the taxpayers in our county. What are the benefits to our community? One, dedicated funding for economic growth, local control, because revenue will remain under the control of the governing body, by you. Not me, by you. And there will be a formal process of application, due diligence, documented public meetings for projects with appropriate clawbacks for transparency and, most importantly, accountability. I'm very familiar with this program. I already created the policy and procedures that we would put in place if we're successful in this tax passing. But it also leverages additional investment. As you know, a lot of times the state or other agencies want to see investment in the community. What are we putting in to get there? And sometimes grants require a match. Well, we're going to have the ability to do all that with this fund. And it creates long-term sustainability. It's not just over a period of 6 months or a year. It could be for several years. Well, I think it's really important that there are important safeguards in place to manage this fund. It requires, obviously, your concurrence to put it on the ballot by resolution. It requires voters to approve it. And it ensures, and it will ensure that all expenditures are aligned with the county's vision for the future of its residents through economic development. I do want to say that not only will it help us prepare sites and recruit companies and create new employers and help those that are already invested in our county, but it'll strengthen our ability to move forward for years to come. For you who are committed to economic vitality, workforce growth, long-term fiscal health, it's not just a tax mechanism. It's an investment tool. It's an investment tool that helps transform economic development goals, county goals, into measurable results. I think this new opportunity is critical so the people of our county can have a voice in controlling their destiny, their vision, your vision of where we will be in our future with projects that make sense to us. After all, if we don't take charge of our future, who will? We can't always rely on Santa Fe. We can't rely on the federal government. This time we can rely on us, the village, take care of its own people. And this is a way to do that. I respectfully request you consider a resolution. I believe there's some timelines, and I'm sure your Cindy will tell you what those are. I have them here in my notes if you need them, but the bottom line is this. We're seeking to put it on the November ballot this year. And by the way, it's not just Roswell, Chaves County pursuing this. There are many other cities across the state doing the same thing for the same reasons I just mentioned. So we can compete, so we can grow, so we can see the fruits of the vision that we have for the future of our community and of our people that call Roswell and most importantly Chaves County their home. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And keep in mind, not everything's taxable under this program. It doesn't tax a lot of agriculture stuff, which I think is important. It doesn't tax medicines and prescription drugs and medical equipment. It doesn't tax energy. There's a lot of things it doesn't affect, and including some groceries. So I think if you look in that perspective, it's not a broad overall tax over everything. It's not. Anyway, I stand for your questions.
Commissioners, anyone have a question for Mike?
Is the proposal right now for this to go before the voters?
This proposal is, yes, to go before the voters and for you to propose a resolution to place on the ballot for the voters to decide whether or not they would move forward on this tax. So your role is to make a decision on placing it on the ballot, pretty much. And let the voters decide. I suspect, and I would encourage a sunset. If it doesn't work, then we'll get rid of it. So we're not talking a forever tax.
Is this for just Roswell residents or
This is
Chaves
for
County?
both. So we are also doing the same thing for the city of Roswell and for the county. So the county is 1/8 of 1%, and the city is 1/4 of 1%.
Oh, so it's a double tax.
A
double
in
tax?
Roswell, I guess that would be, yes. Yeah.
It's
Three
your-
3/8.
3/8, okay. Okay,
But in the county alone, it's only a quarter. So only 1/8.
okay. So Cindy, I don't know, I'm confused. How would you distinguish, how do the voters distinguish if they're voting on it, county voters and city voters on this? Usually it's just the municipalities that are voting.
Right.
So all the voters that vote are eligible to vote would be voting on a 3/8%?
Well, technically, but it's
Not
actually.
necessarily.
It's a city resolution.
The voters in the county, which includes Roswell, will vote on two different issues. One, the cities, well, actually, let's back up. The voters in all of Chaves County would vote on the 1/8 imposed by the county. The voters within the city limits that are registered within the city limits of Roswell will vote on both issues. The 1/8 measure for the county and the 1/4 tax within, that the city would impose. And if these are passed, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, the city would be the fiscal agent on the 1/4%. The county would be the fiscal agent on the 1/8%. So in essence, if a business within the city limits of Chaves County, if both of these passed, would have an increase of tax of 0.3%. Businesses outside the city limits that are in the county would have an increase of 1/8%. Is that
That's
a
correct.
correct summary?
As I understand it, yes, sir. I don't know if Cindy has any comment on that. I mean, she's also,
No, I was just going to say that a resolution would need to be filed with the clerk's office by August 25th.
Yeah. So you would actually, if you lived within the city limits of Roswell, you'd be voting on two different measures. One, the cities, and one, the counties. And the city has to approve, the city council has to approve it to go to the voters, as the commission here would vote, approve it to go to the voters. But it's not, neither body is approving the tax, only to put it on the ballot so the voters could decide.
that's correct, sir.
Anyone else have a question? Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
Tamara?
Just tax ourselves into oblivion. Nothing.
Okay.
Good morning, good morning. So as many of y'all know, summer gets super busy on our end, and this summer has been no different. So the end of June, we kicked off with our national shooting sports. We took 5 youth up to Grand Island, Nebraska. They came home. Our 22 pistol team received 8th in the nation. We just got back a couple of weeks ago from state conference. We took a team up there for a couple. They came back 2nd in agronomy, and 3rd in FCS Skillathon, which is all things consumer, housing, and food and nutrition. This summer, we've been able to host a couple of camps, which is new for us. So we did a sewing camp, a design camp, and a STEM camp that ramped up actually yesterday. So we got great feedback on those. We're already looking at adding a couple more to next year's summer based on the youth's response on that end. August kind of slows down just a little bit for us, but we picked up a couple of new homeschool groups that we'll be doing school enrichment for this fall. And then everybody's invited to come see us out at the county fair, which kicks off actually tomorrow. Indoor exhibits are going in tomorrow, and then our livestock and all the shows are next week, with our sale on Friday the 31st. On the FCS side, we will be out at the health fair that's taking place on August 1st. We're doing some vegetable and food and nutrition things, farm to table things with our master gardeners that will be available to the community. Our extension clubs are hosting a training with finishing touches here in town on August the 6th. Our regular programming with mental health and strong bones is still ongoing, but we will be bringing back our Little Books, Little Cooks program starting in August on the 29th. And we are headed to training next month for an extension Get Fit, which is all about exercise and food and nutrition too. So that'll be available to the community probably starting in September. On our ag side, gardening at the library is still going on with the help of our master gardeners. That will be taking place on August the 15th. And they have just released the dates for our Southeast Urban Horticulture Symposium, which will be hosted in Lee County this year on November the 7th. So Ms. Kim is with me today. Ms. Kim has been with us for several years in the office, but she is taking on a new role. So as of this month, she has transitioned over to our program assistant role. So she will kind of be available to help with programming, but she will also be doing some school enrichments for us, which will open up some classroom activities and things like that for the kids during the school year. But with that, we will stand for any questions.
Anyone have a question for Tamara?
More of a congratulations, an eighth, a second, and a third. That's pretty good.
Thank you. The kids
bad at
did
all.
great, and they represented Chaves County very well.
Yeah, they very did. Thank you. Out of 33 counties, that's pretty good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Jennifer from Water and Soil, do you have a presentation you'd like to make to us?
Good morning. I am here to report on some grants that we have received this year at the Soil
Could you
and
pull
Water
the
Conservation
microphone
District.
down a little bit?
I'm a little short, aren't I? Sorry.
It's just that microphone was a little tall, that's all.
Yes, exactly. So we were able to acquire $60,000 for some salt cedar restoration work along the Pecos, along with another $18,000 in chemical, and a National Fish and Wildlife Foundation grant totaling $304,000 for mesquite fencing and salt cedar work. So confirmed funding that we have is $382,000 that we'll be utilizing in Chaves County. We are happy to announce that we submitted 18 total grants for the Water Resilience Program through the Water Resilience Institute, totaling $2.7 million in funding that we're hoping will be awarded. I don't know what we're going to do if we get all of them, but $2.7 million hopefully going into Chaves County. We are working really closely with BLM, specifically Dominic Bell in the fuel side at BLM, working on a salt cedar. We built kind of a salt cedar task force, if you will. So we're working from the top down and outside in along the Pecos. We're hoping to start all the way at the Fort Sumner Dam, but we're waiting on our partners in DeBaca to join forces with us. So BLM has allotted $2 million towards this restoration funding. I successfully was able to get a hold of State Land Office, and they have mentioned partnering on this, and I'm under the impression that the land commissioner signed off on it for $265,000 worth of salt cedar work along the Pecos. And then PVACD here in Roswell has also shown interest in this project, and we are pitching them a location for about $139,000. So salt cedar work in total, we're looking at about $5.1 million this year alone. So we do have our noxious weed coordinator, Drew Garnett, who is out spraying today, so he couldn't be here, but he's still working on Russian knapweed, specifically along the canal. We did meet with the new flood superintendent yesterday in hopes to kind of join forces and hopefully not have our staff working on the same locations at the same time. We'll be at the fair next week, helping in any way that we can, and stand for any questions that you all may have.
Commissioners, any questions for?
Didn't you guys just receive an award?
We did, yeah.
Well, tell us about it.
We were awarded the NMACD, which is the New Mexico Association of Conservation Districts, Region 6 Award for Conservation District of the Year, and we will go on to compete at the state level in October.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Any questions?
Are we still releasing the little bug on the salt cedars?
We are not releasing a bug.
What happened with that program?
Well, the bug did too good of a job, apparently.
He did too good of a job?
Yes, and there were some issues several years back. So we are not releasing the bug, but the bug is still happily living out there on its own.
So what
without
are
us.
what causes the bug?
I think the drought conditions probably had a lot more to do with it than the bug did. That's my
So
personal opinion.
the bugs are decreasing as we speak, or?
The bugs are still there.
Yeah.
We're not releasing
What's their
anymore.
life cycle like?
I couldn't answer
Okay.
that. That's a Drew question. He's the entomologist.
Well, I thought they were doing a good job.
They
I think
are.
they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Did they
The
attack
problem
them?
is they don't kill the plant in full. They just
They
kind
just
of
stress
stunt
it.
it.
Can you? Well,
They defoliate
They
it.
do prune it, yeah,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like the little guys, so.
yeah. The work that we're gonna be doing along the Pecos is a combination of cut stump, mastication, and then just basal bark treatments, depending on the areas. Obviously, we don't wanna get any chemical in the waterway.
Because of the bug, the cedars are compromised right now, right?
Some of them, yes.
Okay. So a spray would be the final coup de grace for them, right?
Right. We won't actually start treatments until probably November, December. Reasoning, we don't want our contractors or employees snake bit along the river, rattlesnakes and other,
Just remember you got deer hunts in November.
yeah, other creatures are a little prominent during the time frame right now. But this winter, they'll get after it. And we are using local contractors, which is great, obviously, for our community as well.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Move into agenda items.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Agenda item number 1 is the request to approve ratification of Agreement A-26-021 for Sole Source-26-10 Chaves County Courthouse Windows Phase 5. The Chaves County Board of Commissioners approved a sole source award for specialized construction services to Tynert Construction for the final phase of replacing the Chaves County Courthouse windows at the May 21st, 2026 Commission meeting. Staff, Tynert Construction, and Legal has reviewed Agreement A-26-021, and staff recommends ratification of approval on agreement due to NOO submission deadlines.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Agreement A-26-021 to ratification of the agreement, excuse me, because we'd like to get all the windows done in the courthouse.
Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Now, who seconded? Dara,
It's okay.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Dana. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Agenda item number 2 is a request to approve ratification of Agreement A-26-030 between Chaves County and YDI for the lease of the building located at 209 East Hendricks. The lease amount is going to be $400 per year. Staff recommends approval.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Agreement A-26-030 between Chaves County and YDI for the lease of the building located at 209 East Hendricks.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Dana and second
Perry,
by
Commissioner Perry.
Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3 is Agreement A-26-031 between Chaves County and the Roswell Energy Library. This lease is for 312 North Main Street. The lease amount is going to be $400 per year. Staff recommends approval.
Do we have a motion?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Agreement A-26-031, the Roswell Energy Library lease at 312 North Main Street.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Wade. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Chairman and Commissioners. Agenda item number 4 is the request to approve Agreement A-26-032 for the SMC West Parking Lot Expansion and Drainage Project to J&H Services for a total of $559,836.64. This approval enters into the agreement with J&H Services of Albuquerque, New Mexico via CES contract number 2026-06-R1223-all for the construction of the parking lot and access roads at the west side of the Chaves County Administration Complex. This project is partially paid for by New Mexico State Appropriation Number 24-I-2873 in the amount of $149,164.69. The parking lot and access road project costs $327,301.93, including GRT. This approval additionally enters into the agreement with J&H Services via the same CES contract number for the construction of drainage improvements to Chaves County Admin Complex on the south side. This drainage improvement project costs $232,534.71, including GRT. The remainder of the funding has been approved per the fiscal year 27 final budget. And staff recommends approval.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Agreement A-26-032 for the St. Mary's Center West Parking Lot Expansion and Drainage Project to J&H Services for $559,836.64.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by excuse me, Commissioner Wade, and second by Commissioner Dana. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5 is Agreement A-26037. This agreement is between Chaves County and the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District for the lease of the building located at 1600 Southeast Main Street, Suite D1. This lease amount is $1,200 per month. Staff recommends approval.
Yeah.
Chairman, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve Agreement A-26-037 for Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development Lease on 1600 Southeast Main Street, Suite D1.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Dana. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Agenda item number 6 is Agreement A-26-038. This is between Chaves County and the American Stewards of Liberty. This is for the American Stewards of Liberty. They are to consult and assist the county in dealing with issues involving aspects of endangered species and federal land use planning. Staff recommends approval.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Agreement A-26-038 between the Chaves County and the American Stewards of Liberty.
Second that.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Corn. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Who is the American Stewards of Liberty?
You're out of order. You're out of order, please. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Agenda item number 7 is Resolution R-26-029, which is a budget adjustment resolution for fiscal year 2026. The Finance Department is requesting approval of the budget adjustments for line items in Exhibit A. These adjustments include to increase and expend the full LEPF to prevent any reversion and an increase for investment for the accretion and amortization costs. As you can see in Exhibit A, for the LEPF, it was only 99 cents, but we did have a reversion of 4 cents recently, so we want to make sure we expend everything we have. Staff does recommend approval of Resolution R-26-029.
Mr.
Good.
Chairman.
Go ahead, motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Resolution R26-029 for budget adjustment.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Corn. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Agenda number 8 is the approval of the final budget for fiscal year 2026-2027 in Resolution R-26-030. On May 14th, 2026, the Board of Commissioners conducted the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget workshop to review the proposed operating and capital budget requests as well as departmental requests and revenue projections. Following this workshop, the board approved the interim budget on May 21st, 2026, allowing the county to continue operations with the final budget information was being compiled. Since the approval of the interim budget, staff has updated the budget to incorporate the county's unaudited beginning cash balances, along with other final budget revisions necessarily to accurately reflect available resources and planned expenditures for fiscal year 2027. These adjustments ensure that the budget is aligned with the most current financial information prior to final adoption. Some changes also include grants such as awarded CAP, co-op, and school bus road grants that you will hear from Mr. Palomino, the Keep Chaves County Beautiful grant, and updated state appropriation balances. The proposed final budget resolution also includes updates to the law enforcement personnel pay charts. These are specifically for the sheriff and the detention center. The Finance Committee reviewed the proposed budget reductions along with the elimination of 2 positions from the detention center and determined that these adjustments would allow the county to make necessary personnel changes without significantly impacting or hindering the general operating budget. These personnel adjustments are being recommended for approval as part of the county's final budget adoption. Earlier, I had passed on this final budget in brief. This is just a quick budget snapshot if you don't want to go through the 200-page book. That is in the link on the staff summary. This is for you to keep to quickly look at what the agency allocations are being awarded, capital outlay projects, total all funds budget, as well as general operating budget. Approval of this resolution will adopt the fiscal year 2027's budget, incorporating those unaudited beginning cash balances, final budget amendments, and approved personnel changes necessary to support county operations for this upcoming fiscal year. This is in the amount of $69,013,381. Staff recommends approval.
Mr. Chairman, I would gladly move that we adopt Resolution R26-030, approval of the final budget for fiscal year 2026-2027. Thank you.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commission. Agenda item number 9 is Resolution R-26-031, approval of the 2026 final quarter financial report. DFA does require that this be approved by the governing body each year, and the unaudited ending cash balances are the beginning cash balances for the new budget year, and staff recommends approval.
Do we have a motion?
R26-031?
Yes.
I move we approve the resolution R26-031 for the 2026 final quarter financial report. Thank you.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, agenda item number 10 is Resolution R-26032 and Agreement A-26036 between Chaves County and the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District Council of Governments for our annual membership. This resolution and agreement will authorize Chaves County's membership in the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District Council of Governments. Chaves County has budgeted funds for this membership. SNMEDD and the COG provides planning, technical assistance, and capacity building services to local governments in southeastern New Mexico. Staff recommends approval. I've attached the work plan and the agreement resolution to this. Thank you.
You have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution R-26-032 and Agreement A-26-036 between Chaves County and the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District Council of Governments for our annual membership.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Dana, second by Commissioner Wade. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Our COG, as most of you know, is probably the strongest one in the state. We would just really appreciate all the work that they do for our communities.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. Agenda item number 11 brings to you Resolution R-26-033, a request for approving resolution as well as agreement A-26033 for the 2026-2027 NMDOT Local Government Road Fund County Arterial Program. This Local Government Road Fund offer from the New Mexico Department of Transportation is for pavement rehabilitation improvements on approximately 49.99 miles of county roads. This work will be cost shared as the follows. It's a 75%, 25% breakdown, and the DOT's portion is $676,000, $771. Chaves County's portion would be $225,590 for a grand total of $902,361. Upon approval of this resolution, the NMDOT will execute the cooperative agreement. Staff recommends approval of Resolution R-26-033 as well as Agreement A-26-033.
I got one other little question, right?
Yes, sir.
It says, Chaves County shall pay all costs which exceed the total amount. So you were referring to earlier, we were gonna hold off on what the oil price was. If you remember the conversation earlier today, but, so what happens if we wait too long and we end up having to pay more than the 25%?
Yes, sir. Chairman, Commissioners, exactly that. It varies. So the 49.99 miles, that's not really set in stone. It's kind of going to depend on the price at the time of oil, and so we budget for that so we don't go over. So if it means that the price was a little higher, then maybe we ended up with 48 miles or 46 miles is what we were able to accomplish, all to make sure we do not exceed that amount.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Corn, we may get funding that covers 30 miles, but every year we do additional miles. We always budget for that, and so we have our in-house budget for covering additional miles of road. We try to make LGRF pay for as much of that as possible, but that's not up to us to decide how much we get awarded. Some years it pays the bulk of the number of miles we want to do. Other years, county pays more. This year, or this coming year, it will be a huge increase. So we feel very confident in that. But we do always plan for that, budget for that, and that also takes into account those hiccups and prices of materials and that sort of thing. Thank you.
So although, let me add to that a little bit, although these next three, and we're very fortunate and appreciative of the Department of Transportation and what they've given us this year for the upcoming 26-27 year. You know, we've estimated, and again, that's estimated, 86-plus miles, and given what the county managers has said, we're going to shoot for 100, so we'll make sure we cover any of those little increases.
Mr. Chairman, do we know the roads yet, or how do we determine the roads?
We do. We upon the application given to the DOT, we have a group of roads, if you will, for each of these programs, to give them an idea of which we'll be working on, the lengths and everything.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution R-26033, approving the 2026-2027 New Mexico Department of Transportation Local Government Road Fund, County Arterial Program, and Agreement A-26033.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Dana. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners. Agenda item number 12 is a resolution R-26-034, approving the 2026-2027 NMDOT LGRF Cooperative Program, as well as Agreement A-26-034. This local government road fund offer from the New Mexico Department of Transportation is for single penetration pavement rehab, chip seal on approximately 26.60 miles of county roads. The work will be cost shared as follows. For the 75% DOT portion will be $574,048. For Chaves County's portion, $191,349, for a grand total of $765,397. And once again, upon approval of this resolution and agreement, the DOT will execute the cooperative agreement. Staff recommends approval of both the resolution and agreement.
We have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I just have on these, are we getting about roughly what we have in years past, or?
Actually, this, Chairman, Commissioners, for this go-around, we're getting about double.
Okay, cool.
So they've increased. I think we all heard about the big kind of pot for road funds this last year, and that's how they've spread it out across the districts.
Okay, good.
So just to give you kind of a quick idea, we're wrapping up this year's chip seal season with approximately, is this right, Joe, 43-plus miles roughly. And so, once again, upon approval of these agreements and these dollars, we're shooting for anywhere from 86 to 100 miles for next year. So.
Okay, that's good, yes, because I had read that they suddenly found a pot of money, so it's a good thing.
Yes, ma'am, Commissioner.
We're kind of getting a little bit of a pool.
Once again, we're very fortunate, District
Yes.
2.
That's good, because I know in years past, we've had little problems with getting some of that, so, good.
Correct.
Cool, thank you. Start getting it, so they can't take it back.
Yes, ma'am, we've got to ramp up our crews for sure.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept Resolution R-26-034, approving the 2026-2027 NMDOT LGRF Cooperative Program and Agreement A-26-034.
A second.
Motion by Commissioner Dana, second by Commissioner Corn. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you. And my last one, Chairman, Commissioners, agenda item 13 is Resolution R-26-035, accepting the 26-27 NMDOT LGRF School Bus Program Fund, as well as Agreement A-26-035. This local government road fund offer from the New Mexico Department of Transportation is for pavement rehabilitation improvements on approximately 9.98, or right about 10 miles of county roads. This work will be cost shared as follows. The DOT's 75% portion is $284,930. Chaves County's 25% portion will be $94,977 for for a grand total of $379,907. And once again, upon approval of this resolution as well as the agreement, the DOT will execute the cooperative agreement. Staff recommends approval of both the resolution and the agreement.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Resolution R26035, accepting the 2026-27 New Mexico DOT Local Government Road Fund, School Bus Program Fund, and Agreement A26035.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Can be busy.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, agenda item number 14 is Resolution R26036, approving changes to personnel charts. This resolution incorporates the elimination of 2 detention officer positions and increases for Chart D, Level U 6%, Level D 10%, Level S 6%, and Level L 4%. And Chart E, Level DO 8%, Level DC 8%, Level DS 6%, and Level DL 4%. As approved in the 2026-2027 final budget today, July 23rd, 2026, staff recommends approval.
Mr.
Commissioner.
Chairman, I have a couple of questions. The levels that you're looking at, 6%, 10%, is that, because we said we gave everybody a 5%.
Yes, this will be in addition to that. They already have the 5%, so this is in addition
So
to
we're
that. The charts
increasing
will
it.
update again.
Another 6% on all of
Yes.
these.
Yes.
And then eliminating 2 detention officers. Were these necessary? Mr. Briscoe?
No, ma'am, we can operate safely without those 2 positions.
Pardon?
We can operate safely without those 2 positions. It wasn't detrimental to our operation.
Okay. How are you doing on staff, though?
Currently, I have 6 in the process of hiring, and after those are done, I only have 2 vacant positions, ma'am.
Okay, so we're doing okay with that.
Yes.
With these changes, it's that entry-level changes that we'll be able to offer a little bit more when they come in, kind of incentivizing that.
And we kind of weighed that out on our side, and we figured that it was better to lose those 2 positions and raise our starting rate a little higher with that raise. It's gonna help us not only to attract more people, but it's also going to improve our retention for long term.
Okay, yeah, because I know we've been looking at that for years, so, okay, good. So we raised the 5% on everybody plus addition to this on both detention and law enforcement.
Yes, Commissioner Dana.
Okay. Okay, well,
Do we
good.
have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution R-26-036, approving changes to personnel charts.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Dana, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
I would like to say that both HR and our finance department worked tirelessly on this to make it work. And it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ray.
Can we get some type of letter out to all the personnel in detention at the sheriff's office showing their 5 plus this, that a very meaningful increase? And also, I should point out that with increasing the wages, it means an increase into their pension plan as well.
Absolutely.
So there's additional cost to the county, not just in the wages, but the pension contribution and into Medicare and Social Security taxes that we pay.
Correct.
Thank you for all your good work on this.
Thank you, Commissioner Dana.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, County Commissioners. Agenda item number 15 is Resolution R-26-037, which is fiscal year 26 fixed asset inventory. The new listing link below shows all of the Chaves County fixed assets that have been properly recorded as of June 30th of 2026. Staff recommends approval of new inventory listing report, sorry.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Resolution R-26-037, FY26 fixed asset inventory.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Danis, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
All right. Chairman, Commissioners, moving on to agenda item number 16. This is an out-of-state travel request for Bryan, Texas, for truck emergency vehicle operations instructor course. I'm going to be sending Lieutenant Drake to that course. That is a very important course, especially in today's world right now with everybody wanting to sue and do things. It's good to have our guys trained in the pickups that they drive, how to operate them while responding to emergencies. And that is something that Drake has already taken on with other vehicles and along with the county, working together. We have a course now that is available to teach these guys the proper way to operate these vehicles. You can't just get in one car and expect the next car to be the same, especially in trucks where they're a little bit heavier and takes them a little bit longer to stop and more visible, but it doesn't appear to be that way whenever you're driving. It seems like nobody sees you. So very important for us that this be done, and I'm asking for this to be approved.
Commissioners, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve out-of-state travel to Bryan, Texas for a truck emergency vehicle operations instructor course for Officer Drake. And then you teach all of us, because I need it too.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Danis, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion?
I got one little thing. Being that we're doing this training in our vehicles, our insurance, I mean, are we using our best vehicles for this training process, or are we using?
We use the vehicles that they operate. So whenever they go out to the course, whatever, let me just say this again. Chairman, Commissioners, so we have them use the vehicles that they drive daily. That way they understand during the training that is put on exactly how to use their vehicle.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
All right, on to agenda number 17. Chairman, Commissioners, Chaves County Sheriff's Office is requesting out-of-state travel permission to Phoenix, Arizona for two of my K-9 handlers, as well as the lieutenant who is the supervisor over that program. This will be on August the 28th of 2020, or August 23rd through August 28th of 2026. This training is to keep the K-9 handlers up to date on training, legal update, tactical operations, and management of K-9s for the Sheriff's Office. Their cost to this training is $399.11 times 3, so it comes out to $1,197.33 plus their per diem and hotel stay for each of the K-9 deputies as well as the lieutenant. There will be traveling by a Chaves County Sheriff's Office unit, so the only cost to that will be the fuel that they use to get there. And the Sheriff's Office requests
that you approve this.
Commissioners, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve out-of-state travel to Phoenix, Arizona. Better have a good air conditioner in that car. For 2026, HITS training and consulting for K-9 handler instruction and training seminar.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Davis, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you. I also want to just say thank you to Annabelle for working on this, with us on this budget, and helping us get this pay raise, so thank you.
Chairman, Commissioners, agenda item number 18 is the request to approve construction services from Facility Build of Albuquerque, New Mexico for the Midway Joy Center renovations for $149,769.44. The Midway Joy Center received New Mexico State appropriation funding for renovations at 126 Willard Street in Dexter, New Mexico. Keynote areas of the renovation include restrooms with ADA enhancements, repaint interior wall and ceilings throughout the building, install LVT in game room, dining room, and kitchen as applicable. The proposal has been reviewed and approved by staff utilizing New Mexico State Price Agreement, contract number 40-00000-23-00034. New Mexico State Appropriation number 25-I-5321 will fund this project in whole, and staff recommends approval.
Commissioners, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve construction services from Facility Build, Inc. of Albuquerque, New Mexico for the Midway Joy Center renovations for $149,769.44. And Annabelle, please send this over to Monica and make sure that she distributes it to the board so they know what's going on, please.
I have one question.
Well, here was a second, then we can have discussion if you'd like.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Commissioner Corn?
So on this contract proposal,
Yes.
being that the date on it, is it still up to date? Is this an up-to-date proposal on it?
Yes,
or-
we actually just received one. Alex, do you remember the date? Maybe
I
a
mean,
month
this is
before
a-
I
yes.
before I put the packet together. So yes,
Okay, so this is,
they're still honoring.
this is in,
They're honoring the
still
proposal.
honoring what's
Yes.
Mr.
on
Chairman,
the
Commissioners,
Correct.
the contractor's still honoring, and the important piece to that is so that Joy Center nor the county could need to pay any kind of other fees for procurement. They're using the state price agreement, and that's why they're honoring that and why we're able to move it in this fashion.
Good, thank you. Thanks.
I'm good.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Agenda item 19 is the request to approve a lease renewal for a 2021 Caterpillar 623K wheel tractor scraper for flood department at $7,535.96 for 24 months. The lease for the 2021 Caterpillar currently used for the flood department has come due for lease renewal. Staff reviewed renewal and buyout options, and staff requests approval to renew for 24 months at a monthly payment of $7,535.96. Funding had been approved in the fiscal year 27 final budget.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve a lease renewal for a 2021 Caterpillar 623K scraper for the flood department at $7,535.96 for 24 months.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Corn. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approval of checks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the checks, the amount of payments of $4,825,309.75.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Approval of reports.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve reports.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Dana, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a quick question. Lewis left. Bill, under our reports, I would kind of like if we could, our planning and zoning, we have ETC meetings and planning and zoning meetings and
Yes.
land meetings. If we could get just a synopsis, because sometimes we get calls from constituents saying, hey, ETC met and they approved this and stuff, and we don't know what they're talking about. So if we could get those included with our reports, that would be really nice.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Dana, yes, after we spoke the other day, we've talked a little bit about that, and we'll make sure that we do have, it won't be an exhaustive report because they
No.
actually have the minutes, but it will
Right.
be a reconciliation of what took place in those committees, whether it's land committee or whether it's planning and zoning or ETZ or anything else that we do. So thank you.
Okay. That would be nice, yeah, just so we know what's going on, because I have had constituents call me on ETZ, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So that would be great, just include it in our reports. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. At this time, we are going to go into closed session, and we'll have comments after the closed session. Do we have a motion to go into closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into closed session pursuant to Section 10-15-1-H7, threatened or pending litigation with no action required.
Second on that? Is there a motion by Commissioner Dana, second by Commissioner Wade. We'll have a roll call vote on that.
Yes.
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 Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What about the public comment period? Are you postponing it or canceling it? No, no.
No, it will come after the closed session, so it normally happens right at the end of the meeting, so that's out of order on the agenda, but that's what's going to happen right after, so.
How long might we expect that to be?
I'm not certain. I mean, probably a half hour at least, yeah. Thank you.
It's very unusual.
Here comes Derek. Okay, Commission, can we have a motion to come out of closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we come out of closed session pursuant to Section 10-15-1H7, threatened or pending litigation, and no action was taken. And roll call vote, please.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Dana, second by Commissioner Wade. We'll have a roll call vote on this.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, we're back in session.
Mr. Chairman, if I could let the record reflect that there was no action taken, and those issues that we talked about were the issues that we went into closed session regarding. If you could put that in the.
Okay, thank you. Next item is unscheduled communications that are limited to 3 minutes per visitor and not to exceed 15 minutes, no formal action to be taken by the commission. Please state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Deborah Cooper, and I'm in Roswell, 1506 North Missouri Avenue. This agreement, statement has to do with agreement number 6, A26038, between Chaves County and American Stewards of Liberty. We, meaning the public, have anxiety of an alliance between Chaves County and this organization, American Stewards of Liberty, that the public does not know enough about this organization. We request a public report to be published soon about their accomplishments in other counties, that it be made available to our city and Chaves County. Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak and address the commission? Anyone online? If there's no other visitors wishing to speak, then we'll go to County Manager's Communications.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, want to thank you for all you do for us. Of course, we just got back from NACO, and I'll get into that in just a moment. I want to discuss quickly about American Stewards for Liberty and the things that they've done for our county. First of all, this is not the first time we have engaged with American Stewards of Liberty. We have been working with them for more than a decade. I've been at the county since 2015, and they predate me. They predate every one of the commissioners up here on the dais today, and they have helped us. An individual sent a letter to the Roswell Daily Record, and then the following day, the Roswell Daily Record published something saying that the county manager wouldn't comment. Well, I was in National Association of Counties on my way traveling back. I didn't get that information in a timely manner, because I'd be more than happy to tell you all the things that American Stewards of Liberty have done for us. First thing, American Stewards for Liberty, there was a comment made that there's been no measurable outcomes for our county, and that we've worked with other counties such as Otero County and Catron County. And that's true. We've worked with many counties with things pertaining to American Stewards for Liberty, and Chaves County often are the leaders on that. We will create the resolutions. American Stewards does not create our resolutions. The manager writes the resolutions. We might ask for additional information from others, and then we run it by our legal department to assure that it's compliant with any legal needs. Measurable outcomes, I'm just going to quickly give you a few of those, and And I could talk all day on just about any of these because we do take those fights out around the state. I've got 12 counties currently that I can call at any time. I send any resolution I do almost every time to those 12 counties. We have additional counties kind of popping up. It's a little more hit and miss on the northern part of the state, but certainly the eastern part of the state works together in one accord in most cases. So one of the first things that American Stewards helped us with a few years ago, the United States Forest Service, they were changing their land use policy plans, and that included Chaves County only has a very small amount of the Lincoln National Forest in Chaves County, but we do have a small amount of the Lincoln National Forest in Chaves County. So we need to be involved in that as per federal law. So they decided that the ranchers were going to have to give up everything that they had done on their, because there are allotments, there are abilities to do multiple use on public lands, and I think our commission has supported that for decades. You don't just lock in one use on lands. The more you can use it for, whether it's timber, minerals, food, fiber, whatever the case may be. And nowadays, there's a lot more having to do with renewable energy and those kind of things. So U.S. Forest Service came into Chaves County and said, we're going to create some wilderness areas. They were doing it across the Lincoln National Forest. So this included Lincoln County, Chaves County, Otero County, and Eddy County were all involved in that. And we did take advice from U.S. Forest Service. We did ask American Stewards, or took advice from American Stewards of Liberty. We had a public meeting in Chaves County because there had been no public meetings in Chaves County concerning the federal government's proposed actions. Said, when did you have a meeting in Chaves County? Well, we had one in Mayhill on such and such a date. And I asked them, have you looked at a county map? Mayhill is not in Chaves County. It's in Otero County. So subsequent to that, we had meetings with them. It came to light, the ranchers brought this to our attention. We had no idea that they were doing this stuff. The ranchers have built all the improvements that assist wildlife, their cattle, everything else, help with drainage problems. There's a lot of issues that ranchers took care of. A lot of times they get what's called EQIP funds to do that. In the event that they don't maintain those things that have been done, then the federal government can ask them to repay the full amount for EQIP funds. So once something becomes a wilderness area, you cannot just drive your vehicle in there. You can't go do the repairs that you need to. You can't fix a well. You can't do any of those things because it's now a wilderness area and it's highly restricted on what's available to do that. We had no idea that they were even doing it. They came to Chaves County twice. We met with all those counties, brought the Forest Service forward and made them explain. We talked, because of American Stewards of Liberty, we talked to the federal forest manager, the senior guy in Washington, D.C., in Washington, actually. We had the regional forester, we had the state forester, we had the Lincoln forester come to this meeting. After that second meeting was done, they reassigned the forest manager from the Lincoln National Forest the very next day. He was talking to us about, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this in the future. The very next day, they relocated him, and they pulled back. They have not done any of these wilderness areas in Lincoln, in Chaves, in Eddy. So American Stewards helped us with that. They helped us to know the fight. Muleshoe National Wildlife Refuge. We worked with American Stewards on the Muleshoe National Wildlife Refuge. Muleshoe National Wildlife Refuge is a 6,344-acre national wildlife refuge. And the federal government came in and says, we've decided for the lesser sandhill crane that we need to have a 7 million acre land area that we want to manage for the lesser sandhill crane. And of that 7 million acres, we're going to tell you whether it's private, public, whatever, what you can and cannot do because we're trying to protect the sandhill crane. The sandhill crane is not imperiled in any way. We called our friends in Texas because this 7 million acres went across the line into Texas. They said, no, sandhill crane, there's no problems with the lesser sandhill crane. The whooping crane's different. This had nothing to do with whooping crane. This was only the lesser sandhill crane that you see fly over every winter here. They wanted 7 million acres, but of that 7 million acres, they wanted to acquire 700,000 acres in fee simple. In other words, they're going to use our tax money to purchase 700,000 acres to provide habitat and a one use on those public lands at that point for the lesser sandhill crane that's not imperiled. American Stewards of Liberty came with us. We went across the line to Texas. We met in Littlefield, Texas. The Texans don't have very much federal land. Chaves County has 47% federal lands statewide, or we have 43% federal lands. Statewide, we have 47% federal lands in New Mexico. So we're very concerned about how federal lands are managed and how our money is used and how they acquire more, because we depend upon private lands and people's businesses to provide the tax base to take care of our roads, all these other things. So Muleshoe Refuge, we went to Littlefield, Texas. The Texans, they only have wildlife refuges, national parks, those sorts of things. Here we have vast quantities of BLM land, Forest Service lands, all those, in addition to national wildlife refuges, monuments, all those kind of things. They don't have that in Texas. I think it's only 1.3% of Texas is federal land. So they weren't aware of the things that we have had to deal with the federal government over the last decades, not just the last few years, but for decades. It's been going on for years. We met with them. We, as New Mexican people, and a former county commissioner here, Jeff Bilberry, is one of the speakers at that conference. We got together one evening. There was, I think, 468 people attended that meeting. Everyone from their communities. They were worried if the federal government comes in, takes over, these small towns are going to dry up and blow away. That's true. We were able to get the Fish and Wildlife Service to pull back on that. They no longer asking for 7 million acres. That was a direct result of another thing that American Stewards did for us. Lesser prairie chicken. We first fought the lesser prairie chicken in Chaves County in 2016. In 2016, it went to federal court. The federal court said that it doesn't even meet the requirements to be considered a threatened species, much less an endangered species. So in 2016, it was overruled. Fish and Wildlife Service continued to try to manipulate data and whatnot to make this happen. So they used an obscure rule within the Endangered Species Act called a 4D rule that says that if a portion of that population is considered endangered, then we will draw an imaginary line, which is exactly what they did. Of course, we've been through a drought here in southeastern New Mexico. They drew an imaginary line, couldn't even tell us where this line existed, but somewhere below Kansas, Colorado, those states, where the prairie chicken is booming. The actual numbers have increased because of the 2016 ruling. Industry said, we don't ever want this to become an endangered species because it's going to affect our way of life. But what we're going to do to assure that is we're going to make the changes that would have been required had it become a threatened species. We're going to start making those changes in industry to assure that the prairie chicken thrives. Guess what? The numbers have increased across the range. But someone somewhere said arbitrarily, well, it hasn't increased enough in southeastern New Mexico, West Texas area. And so we're going to draw this imaginary line. And because it hasn't increased to the number we'd like to see, even though they had larger numbers north of us in Kansas, Colorado, those places, they said, we're going to make it an endangered species in New Mexico. And because of the 4D rule, if it's endangered in any portion of its range, then it has to be at least considered threatened in the rest of the range. So these areas that had bumper crops of lesser prairie chickens were now having to manage their private and public lands for a prairie chicken that was not even considered threatened a few years ago. Recently, we went to court. We were once again successful, and the lesser prairie chicken has been removed from the endangered species list with vacature, and I probably said that wrong, Stan's our attorney, which means that not only was it removed, but they have to start over. All the data that they had presented was skewed and misrepresented, and so they said you have to start over from scratch if you want to relist the lesser prairie chicken. So that's another thing American Stewards for Liberty helped us with. Transmission lines and NITSE corridor, the National Interest Electric Transmission Corridor, would take 1.8 million acres out of eastern New Mexico counties. It includes Otero, Chaves, Eddy, Lee, Roosevelt, Curry, Union, and Quay. And a county in eastern Oklahoma, or western Oklahoma, and 3 counties in southern Colorado. We're still having meetings on that. I told you we just came back. I was traveling back this week from NACO, the National Association of Counties. Last year, we were successful in presenting a resolution to ask NACO, who represents 3,086 counties across the United States, we presented a resolution to oppose the national interest electric transmission corridor between 5 and 15 miles in width up the eastern side of the state, and they can take people's land without due process. They gave themselves the authority to do that. The FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory Committee, gave themselves the authority to do that, to take people's land whether they wanted to do it or not. And that means us, the taxpayers, have to pay for those ranches. We don't care if it's been in your family for 5 generations. If we decide that we want that land for this national interest electric transmission corridor, you have no alternative but to give that to us. And we have to pay you fair market value, but we've also determined that fair market value, we've had several banks have given letters saying that the second that it was listed as that, those values of those properties went down. So again, there's another thing that American Stewards helped us with. We were able to present that resolution to the National Association of Counties, 3,086 counties, and it became an interim resolution until last summer's full membership was able to vote on it. It was approved without opposition by 3,086 counties across the United States to oppose the national interest electric transmission corridors. There were 10 originally. Some of the states that had better political clout and more money to fight it, they dropped theirs. It left 3, New Mexico being the largest one of the bunch that was left. And so that's one of the things that American Stewards of Liberty did and helped us with. We also came back from NACO. We were also successful this time in getting a resolution passed to remove the Mexican wolf from consideration. They have it in Catron and Socorro counties, New Mexico. Chaves County, of course, doesn't have any wolves, but we all work as one large group across at least the eastern part of the state, southern part of the state. There are other pockets, as I told you, across the state. Commissioner Perry presented in Washington, D.C., a resolution to remove the Mexican wolf from the endangered species list. The reason is because they've already met the number of wolves. They've increased the number 3 times, and now they're at 310, I think, maybe 210 in the wild. And that is their latest number. They've met that well into that number. But it's also linked to the recovery in Mexico. So it doesn't matter how many we get here, even though they settled on a number, increased it to over 200 wolves have to be in the wild. Until Mexico meets their numbers, it can't be delisted. Well, we have no control over what they do in Mexico. This is another thing that American Stewards of Liberty has helped us in this battle, and other counties in this battle more so than us. We presented that. It became an interim resolution, and on Monday of this week, it, along with the NHTSA resolution, has to be reapproved every year so that they will lobby on our behalf at Congress, National Association of Counties. We represented the National Interest Electric Transmission Corridor resolution and the Mexican Wolf resolution. Both of them passed without opposition by 3,086 counties. So those are some of the things that we do. I'm trying to wrap this up real quick. The article mentioned that they make comments on behalf of the counties. That is not true. We utilize information we gather and garner from many areas. I just recently, the manager is the one that puts those comments in. We work with our county commissioners and we make sure that we have cooperating agency status, and I'll get back to that in just a second, so that we can put in comments to say we believe that you need to do this, this, or this. We don't have the authority to force them to do that, but we do have the ability to comment on that. We just recently did one on grazing regulations. I got input from 5 or 6 ranchers across the area. I got input from the Arizona, New Mexico Coalition of Counties, and I got some information from American Stewards of Liberty. So they helped us in that battle. They don't put our comments in. I create those comments, or I created those comments and put them in. We've done comments on the prairie chicken. We've done comments on the dune sandhill lizard. We've done comments on the Forest Service plans. We've done comments on the Carlsbad Resource Management Plan. So those are things that we've done through the years and that they've helped us with. They also made the comment that there were no changes in federal decisions. We recently came back from NACO. Every presenter that presented from the federal government used the term coordination numerous times, because that is something we've hammered. The individual who sent the letter said there was a theory that the federal government had to utilize coordination with local governments. It's not a theory. It's in FLTMA, which is the Federal Land Policy Management Act. That encompasses all the BLM lands, the federal lands. It tells them, Congress decided the way you do that is you bring in local government and you tell them what's going on before you send it out to the general public. That way you can resolve any issues. Now, we can't stand there and say, not in my county you won't, but they're mandated by Congress to talk to us before they do anything and make sure that they do their very best to resolve our issues, because we represent, or they represent, I don't, the custom and culture of our community. They represent the voters. They represent the people who live here for the reasons that they live here. And so they're required by law to come to us beforehand and say, can you live with this? And we say, well, we can live with that. We can't live with that. Let's work on a solution. And again, they have the option when it's over with to present their options. They might have 4 or 5 options, the most elaborate and the least elaborate and something in between. At that point, they ask for cooperating agency status. Well, cooperating agency status can go to all of the people that pay dues to be in a wildlife committee. It could be your church picnic. As long as it's a 501c3 entity, you have the same responsibility and rights that all these elected officials who represent thousands of people have, which is why FLTMA requires that they engage with tribes, local governments, states, to assure that they do their very best, they do their due diligence to assure that the requirements of the local people are heard. And you do that first. You don't do it at the end. At the end is where cooperating agency status, they've already written it. And they say, yeah, pick from one of these. What do you think? Give us your feedback, and we're still going to do what we want. So that's the difference there. Federal, or the Forest Service Management Policy Act is the same. It says that the Forest Service must go through local government as a coordinating entity. So there's that. So I'm going to hush about that. I've talked a lot. I'm more than happy to talk more and do a presentation at your club or whatever. I've done that quite a lot. I was in Clayton, New Mexico a couple of months ago speaking on behalf of the National Interest Electric Transmission Corridors. I've reached out. We've been working with the Colorado counties because they weren't as aware of what was going on as we were. We've helped them do that. American Stewards of Liberty, of course, has educated us on these things. We've done our part to educate our surrounding neighbors, states, and these are just the ideals that we believe in our county, and that is why we engage with American Stewards of Liberty. And again, we've been doing this for decades. This is not something that just came up overnight. This is something that's been ongoing, and I want to just quickly cover a couple of other things. I want to thank future Commissioner Wagner for being here today. I know he's here trying to learn things, and so he can hit the ground running when he's on board here in a couple months. YDI, I want to thank them for all the things they brought to our community. We had no idea who they were or what they would be able to do for us, and they've done very well. I want to say well done to all of our departments on the budget. Of course, Finance Department, they led the charge for us. I want to thank HR, Finance, the Sheriff's Department, everyone that helped us determine what the appropriate increases for law enforcement wages was going to be. I want to especially shout out to Commissioner Wade. He spent many hours, drove us quite crazy on a couple of occasions, but he absolutely did his due diligence to make sure that we evaluated that from multiple angles and did a good job. Commissioner Taylor, of course, on the Finance Committee, went along with the decisions there. I'm done. Thank you guys for listening to me.
Thank you, Bill. That was quite a good report.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Dara, would you comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you. It's kind of funny how, everybody throws the word around disinformation. Disinformation gets, I call them keyboard warriors. You can sit behind your keyboard and say all this stuff. And is it right? Is it wrong? And up here, you know, we have to be managers of all sorts of stuff, but we also have to learn about all of this stuff. And it's nice, we have staff that's very knowledgeable, but sometimes we kind of have to put in and go to other people about information, because it kind of educates all of us. We did it with Lewis and our planning and zoning at our last commission meeting, helping him because of data centers. Data centers is a new area that's coming up. So we're not experts, nobody is, because it's so new right now. So we gave Lewis the tools, and that went into an agreement and getting somebody that he can contact that knows about data centers, and maybe we need to change ordinances for stuff like that. So this is, I mean, we try and use the tools that we have here within the county, but sometimes we have to reach out, because a lot of this stuff we don't know. We don't have a biologist on our staff. We don't have a scientist on our staff. So that's why we want to reach out to those entities that do, so they can do the research and we can partner. What's nice about having our county manager, Bill Williams, is if he doesn't know something, he's going to find out the information and get it to us. And first and foremost, we want to make sure that we are doing the right thing for the citizens of Chaves County and what's right for us here economically. And also land. I mean, you know, that's one thing that we are blessed with here in Chaves County. I have 15 acres, and I've learned a lot from our soil and managers and stuff, because with the flood, Commissioner Corn told me, you're going to see all sorts of weird stuff out there, Dara, after this flood. And I am. I'm seeing weeds I've never seen in the 36 years I've been out. So I have someone I can go to and say, hey, I didn't realize we could kill those stupid little things, or are they good for the environment? So we all have to be, you know, we have to learn a lot of information, but we also have to reach out to the experts. And believe me, we do reach out to the experts. We're not, each one of us brings our expertise when we're up here. And but sometimes we need a little help, and it's nice to know that we can reach out and make sure that we get the information and we get correct information. So I too would like to thank YDI. I'm glad, Bill, because when I found out about YDI, I was on the phone going, who are these people and why are they in our building? And Bill was like, I got it taken care of, Dara. So you're going to come with me. And so we did. We went over and introduced ourselves. We walked through the building from beforehand, learned about YDI, you know, how do they, because let me tell you, being in the legislature, we heard all sorts of stuff about Head Start. And I kept asking, okay, when the kid goes into Head Start, are you tracking them? Are they becoming productive citizens? Are they graduating high school? And nobody in Head Start could tell me that. YDI says, yes, we do track that child. We track the child with the families. We try and make sure that they're getting the care and everything that they need to make sure that the family is taken care of and the child's taken care of. So that's why I'm really very interested in the YDI, because we need, what we're doing sometimes is not right. And instead of changing direction, we just keep throwing money at it. And I'm tired of throwing money at programs that just keep doing the same failures. I want accountability, and YDI has accountability. And I'm thankful that they are doing their due diligence on trying to maintain the building. That's one thing that I keep saying about partnerships, is when we have a partnership with someone, it's a dual partnership. And they have to do their part and we do our part, because we are the keepers of the citizens' taxes, and we want to make sure that they are spending it and doing what we tell them to do. So I thank everyone for coming up here. And thank you so much, ladies, for being here today. I bet it was an eye-opening experience. Go to Santa Fe. That'll really kill you. I just want to say thank you, Finance Committee and Annabelle. Our law enforcement, as I said, our roads, our infrastructure, thank you very much, Alex, Joe. We've got money coming in. That's fantastic because we've been a little light on some years, I know. So now our infrastructure, our roads, that's how you get commerce throughout your nation and throughout your county. And our law enforcement, congratulations on your pay raises and stuff. Please do us well. Please do a good job. Please know that you work for the taxpayers of Chaves County, and that's who you represent when you're out there too. We love you and want to take care of you, but we want to make sure that you are representing those ladies that are sitting there. That's who's paying your salary. We didn't. They're paying your salary. Detention Center, Michael, congratulations. Thank you very much for answering my questions because I don't want to leave you in a lurch with not having everything covered out there. And so I appreciate that. Please tell them too that we thank them. They put their butts on the line too, just like our law enforcement does. And hopefully we can get you more up and running with the staff. And everybody's having staff issues. As you heard, anybody who knows anybody who needs a job, I had a lady tell me that one time, I can't find a job. I said, give me a day and I will have you a job by the end of the day. That's no excuse. If you don't have a job, you're not looking hard enough, or you're setting your bar up. Can't start at CEO, you have to start at the bottom. We all in this room have done that. We started at the bottom and worked our way up by working our butts off. So, but thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, ladies. Please come again. We don't bite. We want to. We appreciate it. But and the last thing I'll tell you is, ladies, you heard a presentation on increasing the gross receipts tax today. If this goes through, you guys are going to be the deciding factor. We are not. So that's going to be an issue. I want to see the letters to the editor. I want to see RDR talking about that. Voters, don't sit on your butt. We have an important election. You guys will be the deciding factor on this, not us. So get your butts out there, because the day after Election Day, I don't want anybody coming into this room going, we knew nothing about this, and who are the candidates? Oh my God, we had an election, because Cindy and I hear that after election every time. I didn't even know there was an election. There's an election, and it's very important coming up. So make sure that's your next assignment, young ladies. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it.
Cliff?
I really want to thank the Budget Committee with Chairman Taylor, working with Annabelle and Lucia, and then also Sheriff Harrington and Warden Briscoe for adjusting their budget so that their personnel can have a pay increase. That worked very well as it came out. And Emma, her ideas were to make everything work, make the numbers come out. Thank you also. Appreciate that. We all worked together on that. I recently returned from the National Association of Counties as well. And my eyes were opened in a couple of areas. One is on the use of artificial intelligence in the county. There's one example, and it's just in certain instances, and it was implemented in a county, in one of the larger counties in Florida. Their building permits were overwhelming their department with data entry and incomplete applications. So they were able to work a program to screen those applications, make sure every box was checked. And now, I mean, it was a 6-month ordeal to make it happen. But it went from a 63-day process to 3 days. In 3 days, they had pertinent information to where they could make that decision, where a person could make that decision. Another instance was in a court system in Georgia, the largest county in Georgia. She gave an example of where it was taking 72 hours to process when the attorneys present, I don't know the wording, whenever they present a court case, they're assigned a docket number and a judge, and it was taking 72 hours, which didn't include weekends. I mean, if this was on a Friday afternoon when it was turned in and Monday was a vacation day, it would be next Thursday or Friday before they'd have a docket number and the judge assignment. And if they do it now, if they do it of an evening, anytime, it's 24/7, by the next morning they have those numbers, the judge and the docket number. So there are advantages to this, and there are a lot of limitations, and they're scary. But that was educational. Another thing, and when we get to the energy and the data centers, the technology is changing so fast. One thing in the data centers, we went from evaporative cooling to closed-loop cooling. The closed-loop cooling does not, in most cases, I'm not going to say all, but in the cases in our desert arid area, will not even touch the aquifer. The closed loop would be in trying to keep the 59-degree area of the earth to cool these data centers. And one company was looking at using oil field production water, wastewater basically. They're cleaning it up, recycling it, and they were going to use that water in their closed loop. Now, my understanding is that, at least I was told, that technology has advanced to where they don't even do that anymore for cooling. They're using a dielectric gel, encasing the chips into a dielectric gel, which keeps everything cool. So I don't know how all that works, but it's interesting. So we have a lot of things to look forward to, a lot of challenges, and I just want to thank everybody here, and it's nice to get a 3-to-1 match on our money for the roads and get those moving, because through the flooding, our roads were used very heavily in a manner which they shouldn't have been by those trying to avoid some washed out bridges, and we need that. So it's great. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you so much. That's all I have.
Hub?
I'm not going to be as long-winded as everybody else. Sure.
Come on.
Not as long-winded
Come
as
on,
Bill.
Hub.
Yeah.
Do it.
I want to thank all of y'all working on the budget. Cliff, you, Mr. Taylor, Annabelle, everybody that was involved in it. Great job. Bill, thanks for the...
Crash course? You know I can talk that
I can't
fast.
repeat any of what you said, but you said it very well. There's a lot of things that have been going on in the county, and I went to a couple of meetings here in the last little bit through the partnership for the Forest Service and counties and up in Lincoln, and I think they've got a good program going there. I think it's been signed. I'm not totally certain on that just yet, but I know they're working on the documentation between the Forest Service and the county. So, that's a good start to kind of maintain the forest back to what it needs to be. That way we're not watching it burn down. I know some of these fires are kind of getting out of control, and we need to start managing the forests like they used to be managed. So anyway, there's several issues on the other particular meeting was on easements and that sort of stuff through the cattle growers meeting the other night, and there's a lot of good info that I received on some of that, and it kind of goes to the transmission lines, to gas lines and that sort of stuff. So everybody's getting a lot of good information. Michael has been touring the state, like he's keeping the tires burned off. I think he probably goes through a set of tires a month. Two sets of tires. Okay. I appreciate what you're doing. If you need a trailer to live in for a little while, well, I could probably let you borrow mine. So anyway, but like I said, Sheriff's Department, Detention Center, you guys ought to be smiling for the pay increases and that sort of stuff. Joe, we gotta, after some of these little outburst rains that we've had in the last little bit, there's a few people that have been complaining about cattle guards and stuff like that that need to be cleaned back up. We've got animals getting out, and we don't need them getting on the highway and that sort of stuff. So other than that, I think I'm not as long-winded as everybody else. I'm not a good speaker.
Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. It's nice to see some new faces in here. Thank you for coming to our meeting today and expressing some of your opinions and voices. It's almost unfortunate that we haven't met before today, and I want you to understand one of the things I like to do is go down in the crowd before we even start to get to know the familiar faces. And I didn't get to meet all of you. I apologize, but the reason I like to do that is so we can try and get rid of, one thing I like to talk about is there a real issue or a perceived issue? And sometimes that's just because of the communication base, but a lot of times we think we have a real issue. We really have an issue. But then when we do a little background and a little investigating, it's really not a real issue. It was a perceived issue. It was something that we thought was really bad, is really not. And I would ask you guys sometimes to really, let's talk before we get to a public forum so we can figure out if you have a real or perceived issue, because we're doing some things up here that are environmentally conscious, and some of the things that Bill talked about is we try to stay as a county on the forefront for the rest of the counties in the state to show a leadership role of how we can have production of some sort, but we can also have environmentally safe conditions that are good for our constituents in our county and the best thing for our county. Bill mentioned a lot of issues that we've had with federal governments or other land use agencies, and I don't think a lot of people understand how we really have to stand on our own feet and say, hey, what you're doing doesn't necessarily align with what our constituents in our county want. And that's one of the reasons we do have other consulting groups that can perform different functions that we're not the best at. And I apologize, you guys didn't realize probably the background or the depth of some of these issues that we have investigated to make them a perceived issue instead of a real one. I thank you for getting him water. Thank you for feeding our families. Thank you for always looking out for all the medical and that kind of stuff that keeps us in line. I appreciate all of the county heads that are in this building that put up with us, and you really do a good job, and you have good leadership that keeps the employees happy. The sheriff's office is a good example of that right now with their pay equities, I guess I'd call it. Bill, you've done a fantastic job at keeping the county going and doing the right thing at the right time. Mr. Taylor, you've always been that voice in the corner that's kept us doing what we do. The last thing I'd like to say is thanks for Mr. Wagner for showing up. He just won his election. He's going to be a new guy up here. And thank you for coming and showing interest beforehand. So I just want to say, let's all get along, make sure we know that if it's a real or perceived issue, let's talk it out. And I'm a little saddened that I went and met you and you were like, who are you, kid? Well, I'm your county commissioner, you know, and it shouldn't be that at this stage. So anyway, thank you.
I'll try to wrap this up so everybody can go to have lunch. But I would like just to say that we're very fortunate in having Bill as our county manager. And through the history of the county, I've served on it before, was off and then back on. And during that history, we've always had very commissioners that were in tune and very dedicated. And we had great county managers in Bill now, and prior to Bill, Stan, that I served with when I was on before. They've been proved great leadership, and they're looking after the values of our people. And I think the commission and our county managers always have looked out to protect the landowners and to protect the public lands. And this commission puts a lot of time in that you don't even see, going to the various meetings and participating to help further the goals of our county. And again, law enforcement and detention center, you guys do a great job. We're always dedicated here to try to provide the best we can for our officers. We waited till we had the final numbers in. We knew what our carryovers were and what we could budget. And we were able to come up with an increase that I think is very justified for our sheriff's office and for the detention center. And I hope that the officers all will be appreciative, and we're appreciative of their hard efforts and work. Yes, the gross receipts tax is going to come up, but basically it's going to be a choice of the voters, and I think people need to be well informed and have all the information so they can make the proper decision on that. Detention, data centers, yeah, it's a coming thing. But before any decisions are made, we're going to get all the information. Nobody's going to run off and say, hey, we're going to build this one, that, until we have thorough and good information on whether we go forward or not on data centers. But that's a big field that we're going to have to put a lot of effort in. And this commission will put the effort in to get the proper answers to make a good decision for the public and for all the people of Chaves County and southeast New Mexico. With that, I want to again thank Annabelle and her staff and HR, everybody that we worked with to get this budget, final budget adjusted and get the pay increases that were necessary. Thank you, and I thank all the staff that works for Chaves County. Everybody here does a great job. With that, we're adjourned and we can go have lunch after we sign documents.
Yes. Don't forget this one. Sign on the document.
Try.
All right, guys.